Hey, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Moose Jester. I'm Junior. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. So this is the 1st of January, or at least it should be publishing on the 1st of January. And we ended up last year with a big bang. Might as well start the new year with a big review. But before we do, this is my new Star Wars 3.75 collection that started last year, October 10. And it's not finished yet on how I want to display it, but at least it's kind of organized now. It's not just shoved in there like a big pile of wood or anything. So, but at least they're kind of in there. The bottom shelf that I think you can see it right here, right? The lat and the ATT with my Imperial shuttle. That's kind of finished. I'm happy with that. I'm kind of doing stuff around here. Anyway, I'm not ready to show it off individually or by parts, but I just want to show you really quickly the fruits of my very expensive labor. Also, this is gonna be the first big review, well, the first review and a very, very big review. We're gonna review the Ghost. But I won't do an unboxing because there's a lot of unboxings over there. What we'll do is look at the parts in detail and all that stuff and just review the Ghost generally and the box itself. Why not? Sure, why not? So, cut. So we've all seen videos of how the box looks at the front with the card work, artwork and everything, but I wanted to look at these individual pictures that basically display what this toy ship and the figures that comes along with it is really capable of when you're displaying it. So here's one of most of the crew, as you can see. Really plays well, as you can see how it's lighted and everything, but you have the detail, it's accentuating the detail and all that stuff. And here's Kanan with Ezra and Zeb living in that space. I think that's the best thing I could say about these pictures, because as you see them individually encapsulated in these photos, you can see how well these figures can live within the space that they're allotted in. Here's a picture that I really do like. Very nice light work. You get the shadows and everything. The Ghost is in the background, so it really looks like a very real ship that we'll see in the movie. And it accentuates what's positive about this vehicle and what you can attain with it if you're into photography of toys. It all obviously the lighting hides a lot of the flaws that I'll be talking about on the model, which I already know, but we'll talk about that later as we go more into the ship itself. This one is the least effective of the photographs, as you can see, because this one actually highlights the flaws that I'll talk about in the ship. But there's Zeb in the gunner, top gunner, and here's the miniature Phantom 2, because it's so small, but it does the job. What can we expect, right? And let me see, there's I think one more photograph that I want to show, so I'll be right back. Here's the engine, the back of the ship. Again, the interior with the game board and the chair. Another shot of the Phantom 2, and another one of the crew. Let me just get it out of the glare if I can. Another one of the crew and the ship, again in the background. Look at how good that ship looks. Again, it's accentuating the best part of what we'll see in the ship. And we'll compare it once I have the ship on live to see if this model that they used is even representative of the toy we're getting, right? That's the thing though, because this is a staged photograph, so this might be a staged model with more details than what's given to us on the ship. But again, here's the figures. I think these figures are pretty accurate to what we're getting, but I don't know because I don't have these figures. But really, really good. A really good shot of the crew and the ship. Right. So After seeing that, let me go ahead and start showing off parts of the ship, and let's talk about it. Okay, so first off, honestly, I don't know where I'm going to put this part of the video, in front or in the middle. But in case I put it in front, the reason why I want to talk about this now is my gut feeling is let's just get the flaws of the ship out in front, and then for the rest of it we can just talk about mostly what's good about the ship, right? First thing is they said these components are removable and detachable again once you put it in, specifically the landing gear and these engines. See how this thing is has that flare that at the edge. So the socket um, goes in here, and it basically tabs in like that, so it's nice and tight. You can technically remove these or the landing gear again, but you're going to be moving it, pushing, pulling it, and all that stuff, and the possibility of stressing the plastic is there. It's just there. So when you put it in, keep in mind that removing it again is going to be a chore and a hassle and possibly um, damaging to your ship. Okay. So the second part is, so here is the top of the ship. As you can see, this is one of the panels, and here is the bottom of the ship. So you can kind of see the difference, right? There is at least some sort of weathering going on the top, some paint going on, and in these small crevices you'll see washes and everything, but that's not evident at all in the back. So this doesn't show on the photographs that you have on the box because they're kind of hidden by lighting tricks and everything. Here's the top of one of the sides. This is the opposite side of that, and you can see this is where you'll really see a big difference. You have these smudges and everything, and the other side is clean. What am I talking about that? I'm talking about this is the top, here's the back. Now, yes, if you have the Ghost displayed on the table, well, you probably will because you want to access the top for game feature, you won't see the bottom. So out of sight, out of mind, right? But for me, this is basically an unfinished product. It's an unfinished product. If you're going to paint something, paint it all the way around. I know the thing is they didn't do it because they're cost saving, and they're saying it's good for us because it lowers down the cost of the product overall. But I'm just saying, for a true craftsman, somebody who really believes in their work, should not really let go of a product that's half painted. I'm just saying that. And I know the developers, the guys who worked on this are very, very proud of what they've done. The sculpting, the design is excellent for what it is. I'm just saying, you don't do a half painted car. You paint everything all around. And you don't do this on a ship where only the top part is painted. Okay. And I think that's the major big flaw on the ship, because you see it and it's amazing with all the details going on, but then if you own it, you know it's half painted. All right, so let me go ahead and put the ship all together, because as far as that's one of the biggest flaws that I can think of. There's some other stuff, but they're more forgivable, to be honest. That's the paint the half paint job is the biggest, um, I would say, criticism I have of this project. I think everything else is forgivable within a frame of mind. So let me put this together and let's try and see the positives that's in this offering from Hasbro. All right, the Ghost is fully assembled right now. We'll do a turnaround, sideways, top, and all that stuff so you guys can see. I apologize for the whirring sound, but my turntable is really going to be struggling from the weight of the ship. This detail is what I love. It's a little bit splotchy. See, this one's much better. See? It's just on the crevices, just the bottom one. This one's better because it's the engine, so it should be grimy. The ship, look at the weathering, the burn marks and everything. Compare this one to the other side, it's a lot more looser. This one's better on the other side. This surface right here is not too much wash. This is too much wash on the surface, I think. And you'll see that on this side. See how the top surfaces is all dark as well? That one. This one is much more subtle. Now we're looking at the engine. It's nice yellow over here. Is it possible to put some light in that one? That's good over here because it's supposed to be dirty and grimy. And then the connecting hatch and everything. All right. We'll look at the front and then we'll go to the top. Top view. The paintwork is, I'm going to say, minimal. It's good enough, but it's really minimal. Because you're seeing a lot of bare plastic with washes in paint applications in this one. So you're seeing this bare plastic and then these grime and paintwork that's scratched up and everything. Later on another part of another video, I want to do comparisons this with my Millennium Falcon Legacy, but more importantly with the Haslab Razor Crest. And then I also want to do a comparison with the Micro Galaxy Squadron in terms of paint jobs and the dimensions of that ship within its own cargo hold and compartments and everything. This one looks really good on the Phantom 2. See, that one stands out to me, so that's pretty good. The way they damaged up the colors, I really liked it because it does look like it's faded. But it's like faded but clean at the same time, if that makes sense. Notice here in the Phantom 2, there's actually a two-tone of colors. I wish they had done that throughout the ship. Now, like I said, for me, I feel like the paint job is unfinished. But because the bottom part is not painted at all. But even this one, if we're just criticizing the paint job on the top, I would say this paint job is around 65%. First of all, I would have liked to have seen the whole thing painted first off. Even if it's the same kind of color as the bare plastic, it just looks different, a painted surface. And then I would have liked to have seen maybe more splashes of color. Again, we'll discuss that with the comparisons later on. But I want you to concentrate just in this part right here. We have the regular plastic wash and the orange and then some damage. That just stands out among every other part of the ship, even from this one. It's just a combination of all of them. Even this part right here just stands out. That's what I'm kind of was hoping It could be. And I'm gonna have to do a wash on this just to see. It's my money anyway. Pff, what can I do? Like, out of all the ship, your eye is just drawn to the engines because they're the most interesting painted part of the whole ship. Anyway, so that's the 360 turnaround of the ships, and we'll go ahead into detail and look at the features that's embedded in the ship as a play feature and a playset. Let's look at the cockpit first. So this is the best way that I can think of on how to easily remove the cockpit. Squeeze here, put your finger at the bottom here, and just lift. Okay, notice this is where you put your finger and lift. Notice the two taps over there. When you're ready to put it in, just do it like that. See how it's loose? Now squeeze here and then push. And that's how you secure the cockpit once again. That's the easiest way I can think of. Squeeze here and put your fingernail at the bottom of that lip and just pull up, and that's it. Here's the underside of the cockpit. We do have some detail going on over here. And this is clear, so there's detail on the clear plexiglass. You do have this here on the top that's targeting, and this thing does move forward. It's on two hinges, 1 and 2, so you can move it around if you want. Targeting system over here. I suppose we should do it this way so we can see it the way he's seeing it. Paint job on this one, stickers would be really cool. You know what? I don't even know if this thing comes with stickers. I didn't even check. Let's look at the cockpit detail. Actually, let's see. Let's move this one too. I believe this one does remove. Okay. And here's the underside of that whole thing. Some nice rungs over here. So it's not a complaint, more so than a regret, because for such a good job on putting all these details in to the bottom of this part, it's a regret or a shame that they just didn't go the extra mile and painted it up to make it pop up more, you know. I suppose that's going to have to be up to us as individual collectors to decide whether it's worth it to do that for our ships. So I wanted to show you the front gunner over here, the details and all that stuff that you're seeing. There is a made up hatch or door that it's there because I guess that's how they go down to the gunner, but of course it's oversized and it's in the way when you actually go in. So I'm assuming in proper scale the gunner seats would actually be smaller and this room would actually be larger, but it's representative of the whole ship. We're in aspects of the design they try to squeeze in as much as they can, but of course because it's got to fit 3.75 scaled figures, they have to compromise and bigify certain aspects such as the chair and the living quarters as well. All right, so unfortunately I don't have my Rebels figures yet. They haven't arrived. So I wanted to put in an X-Wing fighter in the cockpit. As you can see, he can kind of sit comfortably, but remember there are these foot pegs over here, or footrests where technically where their feet of the pilot should rest. You can't put the feet in there correctly and have the figure sitting on the chair as it is. What you can do is maybe you can put the feet on these two parts over here and you can have him positioned like that. It kind of looks off to me, but you can do that. So it's kind of resting on the footrests over here, but he just kind of looks wonky to me. So for me, I would just take off the feet of the footrest and just have him kind of sit more natural looking this way. But of course, you're just not not looking at those footrests over there. As you can see, the back of the cockpit is very well detailed and all that stuff. And I'm gonna turn it really off to the side over here, and let's take this guy out of that spot. And I'm not sure if it's showing. You see those two consoles over here? They're the only ones that painted, but I want to show you a little bit closer up on it. Let me see. See that? It's not just bare, it's not just an orange, there's actually some sort of instrumentation design on that side. And here's the other side of that gun turret, see? You even see that over there, much more pronounced. Like imagine the rest of this room to have that much of attention to detail and color. Like all these detail, but it's just bare plastic. It's such a shame. It's just begging to be modified and customized. So this is the cockpit in itself. As you can see, this, I think this is where their most attention to detail that they went for in terms of color and paint job that they've done. Obviously, it's the same amount of detail that you're seeing throughout the ship and mostly in the cockpit areas and the playset areas that's been sculpted in, but you see all these colors of white and red and yellow and dark blue and red and stripes of pink over there. And then you can see the panels here off to the side. They're not just painted. Look at this. This is what it should have been on each of these panels, all these different colors. But you even see these tampoed and decoed, whatever, and they have some stuff going on in there. So let me see if I can zoom in on that small spot. Look at that. Look at the detail that's in there, and it just like pops. That one small panel just pops because of that. And here's the other side of the cockpit. Look at all that. Don't tell me you're not impressed at what this is pulling off. It's makes it so much more alive to see all those screens over there, and then all of a sudden you going back to this gray plastic. Look, there's even, I don't even know what this is. What is that? You know, it's under the an instrument panel, but it's there that they put in, and yet bare plastic. It's such a shame, the potential what this thing has. And even here on the side panel, like, I don't know if you guys are gonna pay attention. Is that some sort of a safe? I don't know. Why are we even looking at that? And yet it's so fascinating to see how much they brought into what's possible with the detail. And that's what you see as a pilot. Look. But it could be so much more. These buttons should be individually colored, not just laid. You know what I mean. Now, this is in the back of the ship. The chairs, I didn't even check on that. They're all individually sculpted. They're not the same. Look at that. Different design, different design, different design, and different. Now, me talking about this and all that stuff, you hear the excitement on my voice, right? I'm not complaining and putting it down. I'm just like, I'm looking at it, and because of these, I'm saying, oh my God, this could be so much more. I'm kind of excited because I want to paint this up. Yes, this is a $500 ship, and you might be hesitant to paint it, but honestly, it's just paint. You can clean it away if you need to. as long as you're careful, you know, nothing is completely irreversible when you're doing this stuff. That's the mentality you have to be in, to be able to pull it off. And the rewards, I'm telling you, the rewards will be so much more bigger than anything else. Yeah, so that's the cockpit. Let's go ahead and look at the living quarters and see what we can find from there. All right, so we're gonna go handheld on these bunkers that we have, right? So here's the thing with the ship. There's only two bunkers, two rooms that could fit in the design. This is the right side and this is the left side. We don't know whose bunker this is. It could be Ezra's and Zeb's. Um, Only two can fit in there, so I don't think, maybe, well, we can't say it's before Ezra and this was Kanan's and Zeb's, so I'm gonna have to say this is either Ezra's and Zeb's. This thing can be removed. I want to show you the inside of this thing over here if I can. There is a cabinet here, I guess, for storage. I mean, not real storage, but depicted. And these are sculpted in. You have a ladder over here. And then on the side of the wall here, you have more details. Some painted details, thank goodness. But they're just basically a mirror of each other. Like, if this could have been a screen, that would be great. And this part, I suppose this is a table that they sit on. And you can put a figure in there and have him resting, as you can see. You can do the same thing for the bottom bunk, but you can't have them sitting on the edge. It's just too small of a space. As you can see, since the cockpit is here, this is the other side of that room. It's basically a mirror image of this one over here. Some sort of detail over here that could be a pull-out table, I mean, story-wise and everything. And we'll look at it through safe through the door. Door is just, there's some detail going on the door paneling here, but no paint whatsoever. There is paint down there though. It's kind of weird. So now we're gonna go to Hera's room over here. Now this is the left side of the ship where the other bunker is, or the other room is. This is supposed to be Hera's room. There's only one bunker, as you can see. And you can flip this open. It's got the curtains and everything. You can put Hera in there if you want. Some cabinetry going on down there. Some nice lighting and everything. Some designs, make it feminine and everything. But it's actually just almost a mirror image of the other side as well. There's the other side. It's got some sort of, maybe this is supposed to be a sink and this is supposed to be a light. I don't know. Compartments and everything. But yeah, because of course she's a female, each female has their own compartments or room. So yeah, so one of my disappointments is the fact that we could not get all 4 rooms, because where is Sabine's room? Because I was really looking forward to the artwork on this side of Sabine and everything. Maybe Sabine should have had a bottom bunk and then the wall over here where we could have had her artwork. And then I was hoping for the Zeb's and Ezra's that she would have had the mural that she put on here specifically. But I guess we'll do that comparison once I put up the micro galaxy and all that stuff. But let me remove this compartment over here, and we'll talk about the back side of the ship. By the way, guys, do not try to lift your Ghost using this as a handle. This will just pop off, as you can see. And you don't want to damage your, you don't want the model or the ship falling off because you improperly handled it. And this is the bottom, or the, I guess, the roof part of that top compartment. A lot of detail going on, but unfortunately it's all just bare plastic. So we're back up on the stand. So here's the overview of this compartment. You have a computer console over here that only has one black paint, which is really a shame. This chair does turn. This part over here. Yeah. This one, compared to what we saw in the cockpit, is so bare in the details. It's such a shame. Um, then these chairs, the two pods over here, and then the game table. Move it around. Some sort of door that leads to some place in the ship that we don't have access to because, of course, the engine is already there. So it's a pretend. They try to put as much detail as they can on the ship, but within the space and within the allotted space that they have, to keep it realistically feasible that they can produce this, because otherwise this Ghost, if we were to actually make it into scale to 3.75 figures, needs to be at least 40% bigger to be able to fit what we need. There's another computer table over here, some stands over here. Maybe this is a closet. All right, so I went on ahead and put on the paneling on top again. Now there's really no trick to putting these panels back up. You just need to make sure you align the grooves with the notches over here and here and here, and just squeeze and kind of push it in, bang it in, all that stuff. The thing is, the plastic that they use in this one is flexible enough. It's got a lot of give in it, as you can see. Let me see. You can kind of squeeze it, it will give and everything. So be careful. Don't handle the Ghost this way or that way. Hold it here securely. Now let's look at the Phantom 2 really quickly, because it is part of the ship. It docks pretty well. You just lift it up. This is the other eyesore that I really don't like seeing. I don't know why they casted it in this blue-gray plastic. I suppose it adds a little bit of contrast to the entire ship, but it just looks like a gray unpainted plastic. And as you saw on the other underside of this thing, it just doesn't gel. I think if it had been like molded in this gray plastic, I think it would have been much better. And then, you know, paint it up with some weathering and everything. So, but anyway, let's look at the Phantom 2 over here really quickly. So this decal over here is really good, or whatever this thing is, Tempo. So here's Chopper. They've said this is smaller than the regular Chopper. I don't have the regular Chopper yet, and I think it's supposed to be slightly, maybe like 25% bigger than this one. The inside of the ship does pop up. You'll see that there is a little bit of a notch. Don't push it past that. Here's the inside of the ship. Just bare plastic, no detail or anything, no stickers or anything like that. I mean, like, even this really, it doesn't really come with stickers, huh? Even if it was just stickers, I don't usually like stickers because as they age, they'll just pop off. But even that would have been much better than just having nothing. But yeah, it's a good ship. It's obviously undersized. Again, you need to suspend disbelief when it comes to these ships, because we can't have true 1/18 scale comparatively to the figures, because they will just be massive, and it would not be able to get this at the 550 range or 500 range, and everything. You have all this detail, so I'm not complaining. I'm just saying we have to take it on ourselves to boost what this ship could be, because it could be so much more with the proper paint application. So for my thoughts on the value of this ship, it needs work, but all the things I've said is not a knock or disparagement of the work that the Hasbro team has done for us. We, I actually think very, very highly of what was given to us within the parameters that we've got. That it needs to be, the size needs to be accessible. It can't be a true scale 3.75. Yes, I wish we could have gotten the 4 rooms, but it is what it is. We need to suspend our sense of we need to have a sense of disbelief when it comes to the ship. It's representational of the ship on the outside. Looks really, really good. The inside is almost like a bonus as a playset. It's not perfect, but it's there. If you want to play around with it and kind of relive some parts of the scenes, it's there. Um, the paint application is probably my worst criticism. Again, this is good. The bottom part unpainted is just not really a professional way of doing things. You don't leave things unpainted. That's McFarlane's way of doing things. Just because it's in the back and you don't see it, you don't need to paint it. That doesn't make sense to me. Um, and that was just done for cost cutting measures, which I don't think was fair to us as collectors. It is an expensive item, but what we are given here with the detail on the sculpture and the design, it's beautiful. And I think of it as a foundation that we can work off on. Now, as a collector, I don't know what type of collector you are. If you're a pristine collector that just don't want to touch it and everything and just leave it as it is presented, but I'm not that type of collector. I see I see the potential of the ship and I see the beauty and the hard work that they've done in this one, just on the outside, that I just wanna touch it up. I wanna paint it up. I want to bring out what's there. Like if you look at these engines over here and what they've done here, and if you look at the cockpit, what they've done there, that's what I want to see for the whole ship. Because if you like what you're seeing here, imagine that for the rest of the ship. um and it's a shame that we don't get that, because we have to be, or they had to have a target price point. um but at least the foundation is there. So I think they did a good enough job on this thing. $500 is a lot of money. Honestly, when I first saw this presented on the Comic Con, I'm like, $500 for that one. Because I wasn't into 3.75 then. And even now, when I do my review comparisons with the Razor Crest, which is the previous Haslab ship, then this one, and the Legacy Millennium Falcon, which is on a different era. It's got to be a different era. We'll do those comparisons with the Micro Galaxy Squadron in the next video. And I just want to talk about a few things of what we've lost as collectors as time has moved on, because we're constrained with funding and the money, budgetary concerns, that unfortunately we have to sacrifice a lot of things uh, to what was given to us previously. But for the value, the immensity of this one, well, let me talk about how much I got it for. Okay, so this, as you've seen on my previous video from last year, is the second of my Ghost. And this cost me $400 with a meetup on a local seller, a local collector, without the figures. $400. No tax, no shipping, in and out, done. And he was kind enough to not open it while I was not there. He opened it in my presence. So all he did was pull out the figures, and I didn't need to inspect it because it was taped up and everything. So it was pristine. So it made my job a lot easier. Um, $400 for this one. $400 for the ship. The way the way my thought processes work is $400 with tax, or minus the tax that would have been. I suspect that to have an equal $400 total out the door, this ship cost me $370 with a 7.5 California tax would be $30. The 370 plus the $30 in tax was the total of 400. So in essence, this ship was $370 if it had gone on retail without a figure. So 365, maybe 350, 370. That's not bad for the size of the ship. 370. I'm thinking that's not bad. For that, you'd be surprised. I'm only putting the value at 12. Only because the paint kills me. It's a 12 if the base price was a 10. It's good. It's got shelf presence. It's sturdy. It's built sturdily. The plastic has enough give so that if it falls, it's not gonna break. When I put it together, I was like banging, banging, banging to put it in. Solidly designed inside. Um, and yeah, the figures. Yes, I don't have the figures. In fact, I had to purchase the figures separately, at full price as well too. So, Hera, Seb, Kanan, and Ezra cost me $82. And then I was lucky enough, another collector on Facebook, I don't, Shannon something was his name, um, offered me a deal on Sabine and Chopper 2-pack plus, oh, that's where I got it. The Rebel Troops 4-pack, for $100, the two sets, Sabine Wren and Chopper, and the Rebel from Tantive 4 Troops 4-pack for $100 shipped, no taxes again. So that's a great deal because it kind of ultimately goes down to I paid full price for the troops at $40 and then full price for Sabine at $50, and there's no tax and there's no shipping, and I think that was a great deal. So I'm very, very glad and grateful for that, um, Facebook seller again, and also, on the Facebook seller, of this one. Hernan is his name, and he's a stand-up guy, and it's just, and we did it really quickly too. So, I'm so happy. It was like an hour away from me, 30 miles away, but so worth it, so worth it. And as you probably, the rest of you would feel as you're getting this, I don't have a room for this, guys. I just don't have the room for this. Um, but my position in dilemmas like that is get the item first and deal with the problem of where you're going to put it next. Because it's a Haslab, there's not a good chance you'll be able to get it again, for a good price once it hits the second market. I'm actually surprised I got this for $400. I'm very, very grateful that Hernan decided to sell it to me for that, low of a price. It really is an amazing deal, and I could not refuse it. Of course, I could not refuse it. That's why I bought a second one. This is a great price. I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to resell my other one at cost, but, yeah, for $400, no figures or anything like that. It is the value. I'm putting the value at 12, maybe 13. I'm really. I've got a project in mind. This thing is just galvanizing me to do some stuff that I don't have time for, but I want to. But, yeah, so the figures $82 plus 50 for the 2-pack. That gives me around $135 on top of the 400. That's 530. You guys who backed this, you paid $500 plus tax or shipping is gonna be like 535. So we're pretty much breaking even. Unfortunately, yes, I wish I could have gotten the Kanan from this because that's when he has his, mask on and the alternate headpiece. But, I actually prefer the costume or the uniform that he had on the separate one. So maybe I'm hoping Hasbro will release um a live variation of season 1, so we'll get Hera with a different, maybe different paint application. Different card backing would be enough, I think, to assuage the fury of the Haslab backers, that we get that, jumpsuit rather than the full jacket. Um, but yeah, I don't think I'll be able to get that variation of Kanan with the mask and the shaved, uh, head and beard. But I'm okay with that as long as the ship was the most important for me, because I feel like I can get representatives of represent decent representations of the figures, but I'll never get this ship again unless I pay aftermarket value. So that's it for my review of the Ghost Haslab from Hasbro. Amazing, amazing work, amazing detail put in. You do need to add your own tender love and care to bring out the best of this toy set, play set. But the ship in itself is a beautiful piece. And then stay tuned for the next video where I'm going to compare it first with the Razor Crest, um, and then with the Millennium Falcon, and then with the Micro Galaxy Squadron Ghost, all in one video. So that's probably going to be a long video. Thank you for watching. Have a happy new year, and I hope you will have a great, prosperous collecting year. Bye.